How's it going, everyone? I have an exciting ticker I want you guys to talk. I want to talk about. I think you guys are gonna really like this one. I just alerted this in the Discord. We have a really good average. I was up almost 15% already, but I do think this is not even close to being done to running. I think we are literally still at the very bottom. I'm gonna see what I do, but this is a biotech. It is a higher risk stock just because of that category. It just had a reverse split. We have a lot of EMA 5 TD, which I'll discuss in the chart. So let's get right to that. So the first big thing that I noticed with this thing is we got that reverse split out of the way, and it wasn't even that big, guys. It was 1 for 50. I know we're still below a dollar. All right, I was surprised that they didn't do a bigger one, but we have a 1 for 50, and you can see right here this EMA 5. We have lots of candles not touching this. Usually what happens is you have, look at this, for example. You see how a lot of candles not touched it, and then you get this massive explosive move up, touching it, and then almost getting to the 10. What I like about this play is not just the EMA 5, guys. We have other things that we're looking at. We have the EMA 10 not getting touched since February 20th. Anything that don't touch that in a month is long. So this could easily do a EMA 10 run from here, from these lows to the EMA 10. You're looking at a 236% margin gain. That is insane. Just to the 5, you're looking at an 86% run, almost 90%. So it's got the gains it can make. A lot of the times you want to try to get in when this is starting to curl, because a lot of times I see happen is we jump up to this EMA 5, we get very close, and then it's a little too late, because what happens is then you start to see price could either come back down, and then the EMA 5's coming back down, and then there's not as much margin. What I like about this is there's plenty of margin. I want to make sure my average is under this EMA 5. I bought this on the 15-minute time frame under the EMA 50, under all the EMAs. I looked for the same thing. When I saw price under this EMA 5, I looked to buy this at the 72 cent range. Same thing that I'm using on a higher time frame is I want to make sure I'm under the EMAs, because remember, what is price going to do? It's going to revert to the mean. I saw that we hit this EMA 50. I didn't want to get it right away, as I can see that price can reject from this area. And just like yesterday, a lot of people played this in the Discord yesterday, made massive money. Look at it. We were way under the EMA 5 under here. We had lots of time distance. We haven't touched the 50. And so what we had was a run up to that 50 and then some. This was a 38, from these lows, you're looking at a 48% pump from this lows to this high on the pre-market. Pretty freaking good. I tell everyone we're always taking some off the table at 10%. I'm actually over 10%. I'm actually going to hold this a little longer. I mean, I got it in this range here. I mean, already up 10%. But I'm going to hold this overnight. I think this is going to be a pre-market runner, like you saw right in this area here. It started to spike some. We'll see. I like the volume on it. The volume is the number one thing for me. A lot of the tickers that I do, and once I start to see accumulation with high amounts of volume, this thing can really start pumping. We had 5 million volume today. Keep in mind, this is after the reverse split. Before the reverse split, we had over 80 million volume. Okay, and we're still getting lots of volume. We have 5 million, 6 million. That's good. Anything over a million is good in my book. All right. Or like 2 to 3, getting to that 5 million is kind of what I like. I like that. So we have lots of good volume. Even before this RS, you can see the volume was still high, right? There's a lot of people that bought this, unfortunately, way up here. I know a lot of big YouTubers promoted this thing way up in here at $9. We were all the way up at, I mean, holy crap, look at this. Just in January of 2025, we're at $36 before the RS. Okay, this thing has got tremendously beaten down. The last time we got near this lower Keltner channel, even without TD, this thing pumped. I mean, look at this massive pump. 160% gain in one day. What has happened, guys? We hit the 5 move reject. We know to get out near that EMA 5. Hits the 5, reject. Hits the 5 or 10, reject. Hits the 10, reject. And you can see all throughout the price history, this is what it's done. I think we are extremely bottomed out. I think we're really extremely bottomed out. We have high volume. We have the EMA 5 TD. And guess what, guys? We have a very low K value. Anything under 5 in my book is considered low. Look at this stochastic oscillator down here. You see how as price goes down, it's getting really, really oversold. This isn't your typical RSI. Very rarely, according to the math, very rarely you'll ever see this under in the 3 range or under 2. It gets to the point where if it gets that area, it has a massive pump it can do. So we have lots of EMA 5 TD. We have a very low K value. We just did an RS for 1 for 50, which is barely anything. I was thinking this thing was going to do way more than that. And look at the sympathy play runner that I was calling out on ADTX. You see the same kind of thing here. We just had a reverse split, lots of volume coming in. This is what I kind of expect HEPA to do, something like this. But this did a 1 for 250, and this thing pumped pretty good. I think HEPA can easily make, if not a move like ADTX, if not bigger. This thing did a 200% move on ADTX, but look where we're rejecting those EMAs. So we want to make sure we're buying it before the crowd gets in. If you're not buying it if you're getting in when this thing already pumps, you're too late. All right, we're already starting to see consolidation in this area here. You're seeing right here that price is consolidating right in this area here, and it kind of just like bottomed out. We have an indecision candle here where we have higher wick, lower wick, and then we're starting to see some green coming in at this end of the day. What I see right here is we just went right through this EMA 50 on a smaller time frame. You're starting to see an uptrend form. You're starting to see this EMA 5 become the very top. EMA 50 is trying to become to the very bottom. I think if you guys are in with me, I think we're getting in at the very lows here, guys. I think this might be the bottom. If not, I'm going to look to accumulate. I'm going to accumulate this once a day. I'll show you in the Discord. If you're in the Discord, you're always going to get the alerts first. Today at 3 o'clock, I said I'm going to buy some HEPA at the 72-cent range. And I will add on the dips if it just keeps on dipping. All right, because we don't know the exact bottom, but this looked like a bottoming formation with this consolidation. All right, we looked at the daily chart. We have massive volume coming in. Everything looks good for HEPA. Everything looks amazing. And I looked at the EMA 10. We're due for that. And are we even due for the 20? Look at the 20, guys. EMA 20 hasn't got hit since January 16th. We actually are even due for the 20. I would not be surprised that this thing goes from bottom to top from this EMA. I would not be surprised if we go to the EMA 20 and make a 500% run. I'm not even kidding. This is like one of the most A-plus setups I've seen in the market. This is wild. A penny stock that probably is going to make a lot of people rich. If you're at a lot of losses, and this, obviously join the Discord, you're going to get these first time alerts. We've been talking about this since yesterday. A lot of people made over 30% gains on HEPA. We always take the gains. We came back in on HEPA, and we're going to make more monies. We're going to trail and stop this. Once I make 10 to 20%, for this one, 20%, I'm going to scale out a lot of my shares, and I'm going to try to keep trailing, stopping this thing. All right, I think I can make a pretty decent return. I don't know how high this can go. We can get moving, but could it reject on this 5? Absolutely, but I have plenty of margin for that. Okay, I'm not going to be greedy. I'm going to make sure I trail and stop this. But this is the #1 penny in the market. If you guys want to join the Discord, this is your chance to lock in a premium discount that will never go away. Click the link down below in the YouTube comments below, and in the description it'll say join the premium Discord for my alerts. It'll take you to this free chat landing page. You're going to discover a strategy on how you can get into these bottom pennies, not too early, but also early enough to where you get in before the big wigs start getting in and they pumping. The purpose is to get these pennies before everyone else gets in them. Once they start pumping, they're too risky. Okay, so click the link down below. It'll take you to this free chat landing page. Click how to subscribe. If you want to subscribe and get access to everything, you're going to get a promotional discount. Like I say, a discount you can't refuse, 55 cents a day or $12 a month for every service they offer. Future education, live streams, one-on-one coaching, anything that you need will be available in here for you guys. Click hashtag day trade alerts right in here and you'll get access to everything. All these channels will be unlocked. $12 a month can't be beat, and if it's showing more than that, maybe you're not from the US and might do a currency exchange rate. But the best thing to do is to subscribe on your computer to avoid the iOS fee, because that will give you that actual, an extra little discount. It should be near $12. But definitely subscribe on your computer. And if you have an Android, you will have to subscribe on your computer or use your phone's browser. Then you can use your phone just fine. But if you're not from the US, it might charge you a little extra. Just depends on that. But try to subscribe on your computer to avoid the iOS fee. You guys are looking at a bottom, literally a fish hook pattern coming right before your eyes. This is just absolutely insane. Fish hook type pattern where you see this and then move up. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Wish you guys luck in trading. This has the potential to go all the way to the MA20 if it wishes. The targets are there, guys. Peace out.